Hello agro lovers, farm owners and agripreneurs. Welcome back to your favorite agricultural and agribusiness YouTube channel. And on today's episode, I've got a very educating and interesting topic to talk about. I'll be looking at coconut as a cash crop and coconut farming on today's episode. And we'll be looking at coconut farming, the agronomic requirement, the agro-ecological zone, the establishment and the management, and also the product utilization of coconut. And also we'll be looking at the variety of coconut. So if you are somebody who you've been looking towards establishing your own coconut farm, this is a video for you. Or if you are a coconut farmer looking forward to improve your productivity, this is a video you must watch to the end. So thank you so much. Before I go on, I would like to appreciate you all for your support. And also, in case you are watching for the first time, this channel is dedicated to promote sustainable and profitable agriculture. So can you click on subscribe? Without wasting much of our time, let us get started. First and foremost, coconut as a crop. Coconut is a tropical crop. It's a member of the palm family, and it's actually next in line to the oil palm in terms of the economic importance of the crop. Is a very prominent crop. It's a very prominent crop and globally acceptable, and is a very popular crop. It's being grown in over 90 countries of the world. So talking about the agro-ecological zone of coconut in Nigeria, establishing a commercial coconut farm is not something you can do in all the 36 states of the country. So coconut have its own agroecological zone where it will perform optimally and where it will perform the best. So, and being a tropical crop, it does well, or it performs the best in the rainforest part of the country, places from southwest, south and southeast. So these are the places where it will do well. But you talking about the natural home and the blue zone part where coconut perform the best, we'll be talking about the coastal areas where we have water, and in most part of the year we'll be talking about Badagry, we'll be talking about other coastal area in Port Harcourt and all the rest. So these are the places where coconut does the best. It's Badagry particularly is being regarded as the natural home of coconut in Nigeria. So that is that about the agro-ecological zone of coconut in Nigeria. Don't get me wrong, it's not that it will not do well, but if you are looking at something that you want to do on a very commercial scale, you have to do it in accordance with the agro-ecological zone of the crop, and which is for coconut, which is the rainforest part of the Nigeria. So having said that, let's talk about the agronomic requirement of coconut. Coconut, being a tropical crop, have its own particular and peculiar requirement, and one of them is that it requires a well-drained, deep, fertile, and a soil with good water holding capacity. And it does well in a soil with pH between the range of 5.5 to 8.0. That is the pH range of coconut if you want coconut to perform very well. So you have to test the soil and know the pH where you are establishing. And lastly but not the least, talking about the agronomic requirement, the type of terrain, or the type of location, or the type of soil you should avoid. You should avoid rocky terrain, soil or land with rocky. NEPA just took light, but I will try and summarize the remaining content part of this video. You should avoid rocky environment, soil that is full of pebbles and rocks and stones. So coconut will not do well in this kind of environment, because they will not be encouraged for them to hold stand on the ground. So also you should avoid waterlogged environment, waterlogged soil. So talking about the type of location or type of soil you should avoid rocky soil or rocky land, soil with stones and pebbles. because this will have, so because this will affect the root development of coconut, and it will prevent it from having a very good anchorage on the land. Also, you must avoid waterlogged environment, because coconut require water doesn't mean you should go and plant it in a waterlogged environment. It's not right. So also you should avoid a very, very slopy and undulating land. In your land and you want to establish, so what are the type of planting material, or what are the operation you should put in place while doing your farm establishment for a successful coconut farm? First and foremost, you need a mature seedling to establish your coconut farm. A seedling not less than 12 months to 18 months with at least 6 leaves. So this is the type of seedling you should be looking out for when you want to buy seedling to establish your farm. And coconut seedling are a bit expensive, more than the oil palm seedling. So the reason for that, I don't know. So a seedling costs around 1,000 to 2,000 naira. For during your establishment, you must plant. It's not that you should plant. You must plant at the beginning of the rainy season, so that the young seedling will take advantage of the 6 or 5 months rainy season for them to be well established in the soil. And the spacing for coconut is between 7 by 7 meter square, normal square spacing, or you can use 7.5 meter by 7.5 meter. And by this, you'll be having a population of about 175 per hectare. So now you've successfully established your farm, you've gotten your seedling, and you've established your field. So the next thing you should be thinking about is the management. So you don't just leave it like that. So coconuts, just like oil palm, they have relatively the same type of management practices. The fertilizer requirement is quite similar. The weeding aspect is also similar, and also the intercropping is also similar. You can intercrop coconut with so many other crops, like ginger, like pineapple, like soya beans, so many other, especially during the initial period of 1 to 3 to 4 years. You can intercrop so many other crops with it, and they will all do well together. So the only difference in terms of the management with oil palm is in terms of irrigation. Research has shown that an irrigated coconut farm tends to have about 50% increase in yield. So the meaning of this is that if you provide irrigation on your coconut farm, thereby irrigating your farm during the dry season, your yield or your productivity will increase about 50% of what it used to be. So irrigation is very, very important, and coconut is a water-loving crop. When you give it water, it will produce so well. Talking about the variety, so we have 3 different varieties, basically 3 different varieties of coconut. We have the tall, we have the dwarf, and we have the hybrid. These are the 3 basic variety of coconut, and they have different characteristics. So the tall and the short, they are just like the natural form. The tall variety of coconut usually have a longer lifespan of around 60 to 80 years lifespan. But the problem with this is that it starts fruiting after 6 years. So, and it is relatively resistant to disease compared to the short. The lifespan of the short variety ranges between 50 to 60 years. So the hybrid is just like combining the characteristic of the short and the tall. But one interesting part of the hybrid is that it fruits in about 3 to 4 years of planting, of establishment. So that's the sweetest part of it. So if you want to establish a commercial coconut farm, it is advisable you use the hybrid seedling. Before I go, we'll look at the products of coconut and what makes it a cash crop of international repute. So one of the popular products of coconut is the coconut oil, which is a very, very reputable oil globally. It's being used in cooking and it's being used in cosmetic. It's even more used in cosmetic more than in cooking. It's known for its medicinal properties on skin and on hair. So it's one of the important components of cosmetic industry, and that makes coconut an highly valued crop, or an highly valued export crop. So another thing about coconut is the coconut water. Coconut water is expensive, just like rosé, just like champagne. If you see a well-brewed natural coconut water, not the one they've mixed or they've adulterated, coconut water are very, very expensive. You cannot compare it with the price of soft drink. So that is another thing that makes coconut an highly valued crop. So the third primary product of coconut is the coconut milk. So if you want to, it's either you produce coconut or you produce coconut milk. So coconut milk is specifically made for people who wants to do away with dairy milk, milk from cow. So it's another alternative which is healthy and medicinal. So, and it's also very, very expensive. So those are the primary products. But there are two products that is gaining attention globally now, which is the coconut shell and the coconut fiber. So the coconut fiber, which is obtained from the coconut husk, is used in producing substrate. Those things they use in growing seedling in the greenhouse. So it's gotten from the coconut. They call it cocoa peat or cocoa fiber. So that coconut husk that people usually throw away, they use it in producing the substrate they use in growing seedling in the greenhouse. And lastly but not the least, the coconut shell. The coconut shell has been in use as an ornamental material for quite a long time. But recently, technology has developed a way of using it to produce charcoal cubes, which people call brisket charcoal cubes, because the global world is guiding against the felling of trees to produce charcoal. So these are the things they are using to produce charcoal these days. The coconut shell, they use it to produce charcoal, used in smoking shawarma, used by people who smoke shisha also. So these are the numerous products attached to coconut. So if you are a coconut farmer or you are looking into establishing a coconut farm, I can categorically tell you that it's a very, very profitable venture, and if you do it properly, you'll be smiling to the bank. On an hectare of a well-managed coconut farm, you can get up to within 1,000 to 1,300 coconuts. I'm talking about the coconut fruit. You can get up to 1,000 to 1,300 on an hectare. So that is how massive coconut farming is. Coconut farming is not just something local. It's an international commodity. The product of coconut they are all international commodity. So I wish you all the best going into coconut farming, and I wish you all the best, and I look forward to your success story. If you actually got value from this video, kindly give it a like, share with your friends so that they can also learn from it and we can reach out to more audience. And for further inquiry or for further question and observation, kindly drop it in the comment section, then we'll take it from there. Thank you for your time, and see you on my next video. Shishi.